Walton can tip it. Bryant with the save.
Oh, you got to get a shot here.
Final second.
Look at the time. 9:58 world record. I told you, Tom Hammond.
The ball. Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yeah.
Let me say this. If a fight does happen between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, how do you see Crawford winning? Would it be a decision or by a knockout?
Just dominating.
Just dominate?
Just dominating, doing what he needs to do. Terrence is definitely going to be in shape. If the knockout comes, going to go ahead and take it and go from there.
Do you think Errol Spence will be Crawford's toughest fight?
I think it's going to be his worst fight. I don't know about tough, but it's going to be his worst one. Worst fight he had in his life.
Which fight is more challenging for Crawford, like throughout his career? I mean, do you think it would be Charlo or would it be Errol Spence?
I think Spence is going to be a little bit more, challenging for Bud, first couple rounds until he figured things out. And then just going to take him, run away with the fight.
Yeah, I got one last question for you, and then I'm going to get a couple of quick predictions. I ain't going to hold you up. But what's your thoughts on Charlo responding to Crawford, calling him out by telling Crawford to leave me alone and go prove yourself?
I don't think he wants to work. Simple. I think his mind is set on trying to unify that division. Just listen to what he says. His mind is set on unifying that division. And if Bud comes up, he's probably obligated to fight him.
Ladies and gents, you know it's Mr. Cleanup Gang, and I don't miss nothing at all. So, for those who don't know, that is Brian McIntyre, trainer and manager of Terrence Bud Crawford, also known as Bomac. Now, he was asked various of questions, right? He was asked whether Errol Spence Jr. would be Terrence Bud Crawford's toughest opponent. And his response was, no, that would be Errol Spence Jr.'s worst fight. Once Terrence Bud Crawford figured out Errol Spence Jr., he would be able to dominate and run away with the fight. Now, I agree with Bomac. Not because I'm a Terrence Bud Crawford fight. I believe styles make fights, right? Like, y'all got to understand, all of Errol Spence Jr.'s recent opponent, they weren't that mobile, right? Besides Shawn Porter. And you seen Shawn Porter gave him the toughest fight of his career. And Shawn Porter wasn't the most accurate puncher in that fight, right? When you're dealing with Terrence Bud Crawford, you're going to have to deal with someone that is very smart, right? Someone that's very accurate. He's not just going to go out and throw punches. Sometimes he does throw wild punches when he's exchanging, right? But he knows what's at stake, and he knows Errol Spence Jr. And let's be for real, Errol Spence Jr. is great. He's a great technician. He's fundamentally sound. He has that great technique to attack the body and get you up out of there. But Errol Spence Jr. is not a counterpuncher, right? So I'm not saying that Terrence Bud Crawford can make mistakes and swing wildly, because he's bound to get caught. But Errol Spence Jr. is not that type of fighter that lives on countering opponents. That's not him, right? His game is more to pressure you, smother your punches, and attack you with body shots, right? He's not really an outside fighter. He likes to fight on the inside. So if you look at all of Errol Spence Jr.'s previous opponents, they weren't that mobile, right? They were more stationary. They stand in front of Errol Spence Jr. and took punches, and guys like Shawn Porter and Kell Brook that moved around gave him problems, right? That's what he's gonna have to deal with Terrence Bud Crawford. So I absolutely agree with Bomac. I believe that Terrence Bud Crawford is gonna stop Errol Spence Jr. I believe probably in like the 10th or 11th round. Mark my words, I'm telling you, he's gonna get stopped. But Bomac was asked who would be the tougher opponent for Terrence Bud Crawford between Jermell Charlo or Errol Spence Jr. And his response was Errol Spence Jr. And I disagree with that. Even though Errol Spence Jr. is the better boxer and he is probably more heavy-handed, Jermell Charlo has something that a lot of fighters doesn't possess, right? And that's that one-punch knockout, right? He has that explosive one-punch knockout that a lot of fighters can't recover from. Like, you're going to have to be great to recover from that punch. And you've seen Tony Harrison in a rematch. He suffered a defeat from that same punch. Brian Castano, same punch. Like, he's just explosive, right? And Jermell Charlo has skills. He's not just one of those fighters that just rely on that one punch. Well, I thought he did, but he showed something different. And I believe this is probably his toughest fight, right? The rematch between him and Brian Castano was probably his toughest fight. He showed that he can box, and he showed that he can use his jab, and he was able to get him up out of there with that one punch knockout. And I don't believe Errol Spence have that. He doesn't possess that. He doesn't possess that. So Terrence Bud Crawford is gonna have to be careful when he's in the ring with Jermell Charlo. Like, after he figures out Errol Spence Jr., he can navigate, he can do his thing. But Jermell Charlo, you can't figure out that one punch. You don't know where that's coming from and when it's coming, bro. So I disagree with Bomac when it comes to that. Now, I do believe Terrence Bud Crawford defeats Jermell Charlo because Jermell Charlo, he throws wild punches, right? He throws a lot of wild punches, and he's vulnerable to counters, right? He throws with his head down a lot. If you see Jermell Charlo, if you watch him and Brian Castano fight, he throws with his head down. So I believe Terrence Bud Crawford can capitalize on that. And being the most accurate puncher in boxing and being a dog and being vicious, he's not going to let up on Jermell Charlo. He's going to go in there. Once he smells blood, he's going to be like a shark in the ocean. He's going to get him up out of there fast. You feel me? So y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all leave a like. Make sure y'all leave a subscription. Make sure y'all share this video if y'all enjoy this content. That's all I got for y'all, and I'm out.